If you're managing a banana farm, you know you're on the front lines of global food security. So think of this as more than just information. It's a strategic briefing. It's designed to give you a powerful new tool in the fight to protect your livelihood and, honestly, the future of bananas. Just look at your fields. Every single one of those plants is an investment of your time, your money, your hard work. But the real danger, well, you can't even see it. There could be an enemy lurking in the soil right now, one that works in silence until it's way, way too late. So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to identify the enemy that's right there in your soil. Then, we'll take a quick look back in history because there's a huge lesson to learn there. After that, we'll talk about why the old ways just aren't cutting it anymore, introduce you to your new on-site lab, and finally, get down to what really matters, how all this protects your profits. Okay, let's dive right in. We have to understand the threat in your soil, and I mean really understand it. We need to know exactly what we're up against, because this isn't just some run-of-the-mill disease. It's a relentless and devastating enemy. And the stakes? They couldn't be higher. We're talking about a $15 billion global industry. That's a huge number that supports millions of families and their livelihoods. Your farm is a really critical piece of that giant puzzle. So what is this enemy exactly? It's called Tropical Race 4, or TR4. The best way to think of it is like a silent assassin in your soil. This fungus attacks the plant from the inside out. It gets into the vascular system, the xylem, and just clogs it up, basically starving the plant of water and nutrients. The result? A slow but very certain death. Now, here's the part that's truly terrifying. This pathogen's spores can survive in your soil for over 30 years, just sitting there, waiting for a host plant. That means once a field is infected, it's pretty much infected for a generation. You can't just wait it out. You know, this isn't the first time the banana industry has faced this exact enemy. And to really get the gravity of the threat we're facing with our current banana, the Cavendish, we've got to look back at the banana that used to be king. Back in the day, the Gros Michel was the banana. But then, in the 1950s, an earlier version of Panama disease came along, Race 1, and it completely wiped it out. The whole industry had to scramble and switch to the Cavendish variety, which was resistant to that first strain. But here's the problem. A new strain, RTR4, has shown up, and this time, the Cavendish is its #1 target. And this right here, this is our biggest weakness. See, almost every single banana shipped around the world is a Cavendish. They're all clones, genetically identical, so there's no diversity to act as a firewall. What can kill one plant can kill every single one of them. That's a threat to the entire global supply. So, if the threat is this bad, why are we having such a hard time stopping it? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The tools we've been relying on are just too slow for an enemy that moves this fast and this quietly. Which brings us to the biggest problem that every farm manager is up against. We call it the diagnostic gap. It's that awful, dangerous period of time between when you first see a plant that looks sick and when you finally get a lab result back confirming it's TR4. Let's just compare the old way with the new way. Traditionally, you take a sample, you send it to a lab, and you wait and wait for days, sometimes weeks. All that time, that fungus is spreading unseen through your soil. Even worse, the simple act of carrying a potentially infected sample off your farm could spread the disease. But on-site testing, it completely closes that gap. You get a real answer in less than 90 minutes. That means you can act immediately. And that brings us to the solution. It's time to stop waiting and start acting. It's time to bring the power of a real molecular diagnostics lab right onto your farm with a tool that was built for this exact fight. The whole idea here is simple. It's about getting the same accuracy you'd get from a high-tech laboratory, but in a device that you and your team can actually use right there in the field. It's about putting the control back where it belongs, in your hands. So how does it work? It's a simple 3-step process. First, you load. You just take a small piece of plant tissue or a soil sample and put it right into this self-contained cartridge. No complicated prep work. Second, you run. You pop the cartridge in and hit a single button. The machine does all the complex DNA analysis automatically. And third, you act. In just 85 minutes, you get a clear, easy-to-read, positive or negative result on the screen. That's it. It's that easy. And look, this isn't some delicate piece of lab equipment that's going to break. This is a tough, robust tool built for your world, for field conditions. It empowers your team to be your first line of defense, testing plants the second anyone gets suspicious. Okay, so let's talk about the bottom line. What does this actually mean for your business? This isn't just about fighting a disease. It's about protecting your entire investment and turning what feels like a defensive action into a real strategic advantage. Here's the crucial part. With fast results, you can do what we call ring fencing. Instead of waiting for the disease to pop up everywhere, you can test the healthy-looking plants around a sick one. You find the exact border of the infection, and you contain it with surgical precision. This means you only have to destroy the plants you know are infected, saving the rest of your crop, your yield, and your revenue. Plus, it's absolutely vital for proving your farm is disease-free to keep those export certifications. And what's really brilliant here is that testing on site is just fundamentally safer. You completely get rid of the risk of spreading the fungus when you transport samples. The test cartridge is a closed system, so there's no accidental contamination. The second you get a positive result, boom, you can quarantine that specific area immediately, not days or weeks later. Let's be perfectly clear about this. When you're facing TR4, the old wait and see approach is, well, it's a recipe for disaster. The power to test, to confirm, and to act all in the same morning isn't a luxury anymore. It's the new standard. It's an absolute necessity for survival. The threat isn't on its way. It's already here, in the soil of plantations all around the world. So the only real question left is this. When it shows up on your farm, will you be ready to fight back instantly? Is your farm ready to act?